5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It is the Overreaction Monday edition of the Patrick Johnson Show. Back by popular demand. That's right, ladies. Jay Sonnhalter, ESPN college football analyst with us here, ESPN Plus. I'm bummed you're not going to be on the Plus on Saturday, Sonny. I don't want to get you in trouble with the worldwide leader, but I'm a little bummed you're not going to be in the booth at Charlotte ECU for homecoming.
I wish I was going to be down there with you. It'll be an interesting game with both teams really needing to win. So I saw Charlotte earlier this year, and you know, we obviously cover the Pirates every week. So a lot on the line Saturday.
All right, let me get your thoughts post-mortem here of ECU first. Again, it seems like a case where the one thing I guess I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around is, I'm, you know, as of now, we have not talked to Mike Houston. I'm guessing they felt like they needed to do something to spark the offense in the fourth quarter, something that would allow them to push the ball downfield a little more. That's why we saw Flynn. I thought everything was fine with Garcia. Not great, but fine. Defense was more than holding their own. And, you know, I think, unfortunately for Flynn, comes in, fumbles. Defense holds him to a long field goal, SMU. Okay. But then the pick six was just hideous, unfortunately. I mean, that was really – and so I think in that situation we're starting to see where if you're playing two quarterbacks, it may be confusing for the young offensive players who have not themselves at receiver seem to totally grasp everything that goes into this.
Yeah, I mean, that's the tough part about playing the two quarterbacks is there's a different voice in the huddle. And the biggest thing is when somebody comes in, there isn't that rhythm. And for the quarterbacks, for everybody in the huddle, you want to have one guy. Now, obviously, the reason there are two guys playing is because nobody has won the job. So that's the situation. And unfortunately, that's what happens sometimes is, you know, when you do need that spark or there is a decision to put somebody in, you know, the hope is that it jumpstarts you. But the risk is there could be a turnover. It could not work. And that's why you want to have one consistent guy in there. That's just not the case right now. And until somebody either wins the job or something changes, that's probably going to be the way it goes, where there's going to be two guys in there. But that's been the issue that's kind of been brought up in most of these games where there hasn't been that consistent guy. There's been turnovers that has affected the game.
You know, I'm sitting here, Sonny, and I'm reading comments. I tried to get away from it this weekend. I'm reading comments of people. They just need at this point to let Garcia go. You've got 6 games for him to kind of prove, you know, whether he can do it or not. You're not going to have Flynn next year. You potentially could Garcia. So what do you think of that mode of thinking? Again, I thought Garcia looked the most comfortable he's looked, and they did some things to move the pocket Thursday against SMU.
Well, I mean, I certainly understand that feeling. The thing that I would say is I'm not out of practice. I'm not grading the film. So when when somebody's going in the game or the reason why someone's playing, there's obviously some background behind it. So, you know, Flynn's in there because he's bringing some to the table that Garcia isn't, and vice versa. So,
well,
yeah,
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, do you turn the keys over to him? Because you've got to see what he's going to do. And I don't know if he's had ample time to really show what he's going to do. I mean, he starts at Michigan. That's a terrible situation for anybody to get their first start, even though it was the second. But you know what I'm saying. That kind of start when you've prepared as the starter, that's a tough place to start, right? And then you've got this sort of herky-jerky deal with the time, and he's splitting the time after that. You came in relief this past time. So, I mean, I'm just, I know you're saying, I understand what you're saying. You haven't, neither have I, but I'm just talking from the fans' perspective of, and as naive as that is, do you toy with the idea of saying, okay, this is his half a season to show what he can do? Because you can make the argument he really has not been given the shot to show what he can do week in and week out.
Well, that makes sense to me from the outside, and my answer would be yes. But we're at the point now where who like we need a win. So who's going to give you the best chance to win? And I don't know the answer to that, but like the runway here, like it's only going to get worse if you can't win. So which quarterback's going to give you the best chance to win? Now, if that's Garcia, then do it. If that's him and knowing that he's going to have a runway to get better, then do it. But I just think right now the answer probably is it might need to be both guys or neither one has really stood up. But I would say on the outside, the answer is yes. Let him develop, give him a chance, and let him just take it and see where he can go with it. And plus an opportunity next year, you'll have more of an idea with multiple starts and in a stretch of consistency.
Let me ask you this. Jay Sonnhalter, by the way, with us, college football analyst. This is the Patrick Johnson Show. We've got Inside Pirate Athletics coming up at 6 o'clock from Tiebreakers, so stand by for that. Sonny, you can't deny that the defense has been awesome this year under the Pirates. I know you look and you see, 31-10, they gave up over 30 points. Well, there was a pick six in there. There was a short field that they held to a field goal. So you could say 10 points off turnovers there. They really held them to 21. And with an offense as potent as SMU, I think that's a big thing. So defensively, look, I don't think you could ask for anything more at this point, could you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the defense has been solid. I think it's been good, and I think it's been good enough to win a lot of the games. It's just the offense is obviously still coming along and having struggles. But I think on the defensive side, you look at how they've been playing, and all you can look at Michigan week one. I mean, they scored 31 points. Michigan's been scoring 50 on everybody. So week one was even though it was a loss, the defense slowed them down. SMU potent offense. It wasn't really what it seemed to be. So the defense has been getting after the quarterback. They've been doing a good job. I just think against Charlotte this Saturday, it's going to be two really good defenses going against two offenses that are struggling. And I think ECU's defense is going to have another opportunity to really shut down the 49ers.
Speaking of the 49ers, a goose egg against Navy. And, they held Navy to 4. Navy scored 14 points. Let's just say that. And people, well, that's not the same Navy. This is still a team that was top 5 in the NCAA last week in rushing. So they're still doing what they do to move the ball and consume time. What is the issue? We know what the issues have been with the Pirate offense. What have been the issues with the 49ers offense?
Well, it's kind of similar. They've had a rotating door at quarterback. There's been Jalen Jones and Trexler Ivy playing quarterback. They may even go to their third guy. So they haven't found a consistent quarterback play. And then there's no explosiveness on the offense. Their best wide receiver was out with injury. They don't have any explosive plays on the offensive end. The one thing they have done a pretty good job of is protecting the football. They're not going to turn it over. They just haven't really had anything going. It's been a lot of punts, and we saw that against Navy. So I think the challenge for ECU this weekend is going to be just trying to create turnovers, because this is an offense that's going to protect the ball. There's just no big chunk plays, but they don't have guys in there yet that's going to threaten an opposing defense.
We're a half season into the Poggi deal. How is that going you can't really judge him, can you, in year one?
Yeah, my internal feeling on him is he's an amazing coach, and he's going to get that program turned around. I just think right now, they're year one of a rebuild, and he's going to have to get some more guys in there and build it up through recruiting and everything. But when you talk to him and when you hear everything going on around the program, his players love him, and it's just a situation where he's coming in and he's going to have to fix it. But I would I would guarantee that he's going to get it turned around there. Just what I know about him and what he's able to do as far as his past. I'm a big believer in him down at Charlotte.
What's up with the no sleeve, Sonny? I mean, you've covered him. What is that about? He's got the heck with you money, so he can do whatever he wants. I mean, if I had the heck with you money, I probably would wear a muumuu. But I mean, what is going on with or a robe? I'd be ensconced in velvet like Costanza. But let me ask you, what is the deal with no sleeves? What is that?
Well, he said it's to be comfortable. I mean, and I agree. So when we did the game, I wore a cutoff shirt.
I saw that.
It was much more comfortable than a suit and tie.
So you wore the cutoff shirt for the entire second half?
The entire second half. It was the best thing I could have done. I just think it's a style, too. I mean, if you're a recruit, I mean, don't you think that's kind of cool?
I don't know if Grandpa Flabby Arms is cool. That's just, I don't know. I thought you were getting Biff Force today. What happened? Explain yourself, Sonnhalter.
I didn't know our exact schedule today. Sorry.
We do it every week. What do you mean you didn't know our exact schedule? Come on, Sonnhalter. You were supposed to get Poggi this week for us. What's going on?
I'm sorry.
I mean, Joey Football gets his Holt Nailers. I thought you and Poggi were boys. I thought you guys were boys.
We'll see. Maybe later in the week.
Maybe later. Maybe sometime. One never knows, do they? One never knows. All right. Last thing on this game this week. It is homecoming, so that's an added layer of, let's say pressure. I think right now early indications are any rain that might happen Friday into Saturday would be out. Might spoil the homecoming parade a little Saturday morning, but we will see. It's still too early in the week to tell. But I got to think that there's a little something here with homecoming. There'll be probably an opportunity at a really good crowd because it is homecoming and that a lot of people come back. It's a good time. 2:00. I love the 2:00 kickoff time. I think that's the best you can really ask for. And since it's going to be on Plus, you could designate, certain windows, and they designated 2. I think it's the perfect time to kick off, quite frankly. It's not too late. You get plenty of tailgating and revelry in, and you're not out all night. I went to a game Saturday, and we'll talk more about that. Didn't start till 8:00. And it didn't last as long as the UNC Miami game, but I got home at midnight, Sonny. Midnight. I know that's common for you, but for me, it is not. Yeah. Midnight.
That's past your bedtime, 8:30. That's when you're usually asleep.
Right. It's way past my bedtime.
You're like a grandpa.
It was past my bedtime on the West Coast. That's how late it was. All right. Back to the original question before I went off on a stream of consciousness here. Who's the pressure on more? It's got to be, unfortunately, the Pirates because it's homecoming, right?
It's going to be on the Pirates more. I mean, both teams need a win bad, but ECU's at home. I just feel like ECU right now, they're feeling a lot of heat, and sometimes it's better to get away from your home crowd, and you do feel more pressure at home. So both teams need it, but if I had to pick, I'd say it's probably more on ECU side.
Is this a rivalry?
Not yet. It should be. It should be down the road. I mean, these teams, even though they're in the same league, there's no history. But I think down the road it will be.
That's it
for this segment, Biff. Yes, it is. Get some sleeves. Sonny and I will talk more college football here on the Patrick Johnson Show. It is Overreaction Monday. Stay with us.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. Fifth Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master. I'm a big mood. You can't name a lot of things that I didn't do. Stacking paper like a book, not a Kindle. You outdated, I'm the one they getting into. And I won't break a sweat. Let's get it. 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 Child, please, I don't need a towel, please.
Are you game day ready? Anson Belt, the official belt of ECU Athletics.
Are you ready for a digital hair color revolution? The Color Master Factory by Chi and LG. A masterpiece of innovation, unlimited color formulations, limitless possibilities, long-lasting color. Chi.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Taking the rage out of your drive home?
You just cut me off! But it's no big deal.
Patrick Johnson on 94.3 The Game and the new IBX Media app.
Overreaction Monday on the Patrick Johnson Show. Inside Pirate Athletics is coming up, and Jay Sonnhalter is with us. So I went with my parents took Jill and me to the to the NC State at Duke game. And there were a lot of farmers from Duplin County there, which was fine. And I was in the club level. So I was into clubs, Sonny. I was in the club level. It was very, I will not ever be able to watch a game with the fans again. As you know, I'm already pretentious. And I will not be able to watch the fans with the games with the common fans ever again after that. They had catered. They met all three of my thresholds. All three of my thresholds were met. The tickets were off the shoulder for me. I had close by parking and a catered meal. It's a home run for it. I got to have two of those three usually to go somewhere, as you know. But I had 3 out of 3. And so that made it a tremendous night.
But the game was too late for you.
Yeah, it was. That might be the fourth factor that comes. But it wasn't too bad. I was okay. Look, I needed a break after being at home all day that day, and it was nice to go. We had a good time. But let me ask you this. The hell with NC State. I mean, I think that's a really, they're a dumpster fire on offense. I mean, they have no identity. They have no idea what they're doing on. And Duke probably could have scored some more points, but Duke's defense in person, I saw it against Clemson, how fast they were watching them on television, but seeing them in person from the club level on Saturday night, I noticed that they were, to me, they're fast on defense. They're physical up front on defense, and they're fast where they need to be fast. It's a good defense. Now, I don't know if they can go into Florida State. I don't know if they can go into Tallahassee without Riley Leonard healthy and win, but I think they'll have a chance to hang around just because of their defense. And I've seen Florida State's defense, and it's really good too. And I've seen their offense in person, and it is a little questionable.
Yeah. I mean, I just think Mike Elko is one of the best coaches in the country. And anytime you have a coach like that can, come up with a game plan and an outstanding defense, that game is going to be close. Duke may not win it. You're right. I mean, that's going to be a tough game. But, that game will for sure be close when you've got a defense that's playing as well as Duke's is, no matter who they're going against. Florida State's one of the best offensively, but a defense should be able to slow them down and shut them down to a degree. It's just going to depend on the offensive end if they can protect the ball. If they have turnovers, then Florida State will win. But I think Duke's going to go in there, and I think it's going to be a great game.
They're going to have to run the ball too, and
keep their off the field.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. And not turning it over and controlling the clock in this game. You said it well last week. The time of possession is not usually a story. We announcer nerds like to make it a story, but in this game, it'll have to be a story in my mind for the Blue Devils to have any kind of chance. A couple of other news and notes from college football as we break down the weekend that was in college football. Is North Carolina a top 10 team now with Tez Walker? It would appear they are.
How good did he look? I mean, he looked amazing. I think
he's got a great quarterback to throw to.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole key. I mean, you said it, Drake May, because they've got the number probably of those because of Drake May. But that end of the schedule, they've got Clemson. That NC State game is always close, even though NC State.
Well, they got Duke
sucks.
at home too. They got Duke at home.
Got Duke, then the ACC championship. So do I think they're going to go through that with undefeated or one loss? No, I bet you they drop 2. And that might be in the ACC championship, but they actually are a legit team because of May.
So we're at the point now in October where anybody can beat anybody that's good, right? And if you're the case of Boise, somebody can beat you who's not so good, Colorado State. We'll talk more about the state of Colorado in a moment. Not Colorado State, but the state of Colorado. But, Lincoln Riley's a brilliant offensive mind. But even going back to his time in Greenville, that defense stops nobody. And Notre Dame had because Notre Dame's got a good quarterback in Sam Hartman, they had a field day on Saturday night.
Do you want a hot take?
Give me a hot take. I'm hoping you're finally going to give us some hot takes on here.
They'll never win a national champion. If that's their goal, which it is, they'll never win a national championship with him as their head coach because they're never going to play real defense. You look back at what he did at Oklahoma and now, and even in Greenville when he was the OC, but kind of in charge of a lot of things. Just as a player in the program, if you're that top heavy on offense and you run that system, you cannot have a great defense. And you may make it to the playoff, you may make it to the national championship, but when you play an SEC defense or a Michigan that has a real defense, you'll get exposed. They're going to the Big Ten next year that plays real defense. And, I just know with that philosophy, I'm a believer in you can't win big. Now, I think they'll win 9 or 10 games every year. I just don't think they'll ever get to the national championship. He'll probably stay there for another year or two and then go to the NFL, so it probably won't matter. But I don't think I'm not a believer in that system. Boom.
It's you with all the hot takes. The hot takery from Jay Sonnhalter here on the Patrick Johnson Show.
Do you agree
Overreaction.
with that?
I tend to believe what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not a personal feeling as much as you look at the evidence so far, and that's the trend. They are amazing on offense, but defensively is where it eventually catches up to them. Caught up to them in the regular season this go around. How good's Washington, by the way? They're America's team in a way right now, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they're number 5 right now. I mean, I think them and Oregon. I mean, Oregon's just as good. That game could have gone either way.
Anybody's game.
I think USC, back to USC, I think they might be the 4th best team in the Pac-12. Utah, they're playing Utah this weekend.
Is Utah healthy yet? Because they're not healthy, they're not the top 3
Yeah. That's going to be
Pac-12's good, though. I mean, Pac-12's deep. Pac-12 is deep this year. It's a shame that thing's breaking up.
USC could lose 2 or 3 games, though, this year.
Well, yeah, I really think most anybody can in that conference still. A lot of football to be played out west. Jay Sonnhalter's with us. Speaking of the Pac-12, Friday night, I'm at home. My wife hates this. I'm at home now. And I'm settling in to watch a little Pac-12 after dark. I watched the end of Memphis-Tulane.
You were
We can
asleep
touch
by
on
the
here.
time it started. Don't.
No, I watched the beginning of it. I watched the beginning, and I watched them jump out 14-0. I said, I'm not going to stay up anymore for it. But I couldn't have slept if I wanted to because you called me in the middle of the night, practically, leaving your game, which I didn't appreciate. But here's what I mean. What happened? It was 29-0. 29-0. And then Coach Prime got the SNL treatment. It was the only funny thing on that episode. I mean, it's what's going on there, Sonny? Is Coach Prime the fraud?
No, he isn't.
But Stanford had one win.
Well, they haven't. Yeah, I mean, but I will say this: he's not a fraud. But when you do all the flash and you do all the talking, you better back it up. It puts a lot of pressure on you, and every game is important to the opponent because they want to knock you down. And he may be able to handle all that and compartmentalize it, but like obviously the players were overlooking and took a nap at halftime. I mean, Shedeur was sending out merchandise links, or his people were at halftime of the game on Instagram.
And I think that's where it becomes a little problematic, right? I mean, you're opening yourself up for the jeers that inevitably come, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like, you know, you or I or maybe 20 people on that team could handle it, but the problem is when everybody's talking the talk, not everybody can back it up, and they obviously looked past them and took a nap, and that's going to be an issue for them because now their schedule is going to get a little bit tougher. I mean, they've got a bye week, UCLA coming up. The Pac-12's still a lot of good teams left on their schedule, so that was one they should have won, could have won, and been 5-2. Now they're 4-3, and the steam, that momentum's not there as much. But
yeah,
I do think he's real. I mean, they're going to win 7 games this year.
Okay, so they're going bowling.
They're going bowling.
All right, last thing, and we'll preview more of the games later in the week with Doug Martin. Houston Huddle tomorrow. We'll have Inside Pirate Athletics coming up in a little bit. Penn State, Ohio State is kind of the big matchup on Saturday. It's at noon. It's on Fox. It's in Columbus. I know what a Buckeye lover you are. Is Penn State legitimate? Because it seems like every year they, or historically Wisconsin, get to this point, and then they go play Ohio State or they go play Michigan and they get their brains beat in.
Well, yeah, my question is Ohio State legit this year? I think I've got more confidence. I've got more confidence than Penn State in this game. The only thing is it's on the road. But I do think that Penn State is legit. Their quarterback's going to be top 2 pick next year, Drew Aller, and that's why they're different this year because they have a real stud at quarterback and their defense is really good. I just think this game is going to be awesome. I think it's going to go down to the wire. A little concerned with Ohio State's offensive line. They're average at best, and we know their skill players are really good. Also, Kyle McCord I know has come along, but I honestly in this game I'm probably going to roll with Penn State on the road. I do think they're legit. I think Michigan and Penn State are the 2 best teams in the Big Ten.
Where are you going to be this weekend, Sonny? What are you doing?
We'll be at Campbell Saturday, Maine versus Campbell, and then high school
Maine.
over.
Maine versus Campbell. Maine spells Maine. All right.
Yeah.
Sonny will be the Black Bears, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. The Maine Black Bears and the Campbell Fighting Camels. Sonny will be there, indeed, this weekend on the Plus. So check it out. Or is that Flow now? Is that Flow?
Flow.
Are you Flow?
We're Flow.
Look at you,
Flow
cashing those Flow checks now. There you go. That's the best production on Flow. Trust me.
What VIP box are you going to be in this weekend?
I've got to go to homecoming and do the pregame. There might be a. It's probably just going to be me, but I'm trying to convince Jill to go. I'm going to work on Cy for some good passes. Is what I'm going to do because I can't go sit with the people now. I don't get the velvet rope treatment like you do. I know you go to the club and you get the velvet ropes, but that's just not how I roll. So I felt special.
You're gonna be up in the chancellor's suite. You should send me a picture when you're up there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If I figure my way up, I will send you. Did I send you pictures the other night from where I was? I did, didn't I?
You did. Yeah.
Like a couple of giggling high school girls, me and Sonny on the text messages. By the way, did you see the one I sent you? I might have sent it to you on a social media. I slid into your DMs with a push notification of sorts. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I haven't checked it out yet. I'll have to go look for it.
Go to the Insta. You'll see it. All right. Too much inside baseball here for the people. Sorry, ladies. We got to end our time with Sonny here. But we will have him back on Monday and hopefully be talking about a homecoming victory for the Pirates. Ain't no coming like a homecoming, as we know. All right. Philip the Ref Pilkington will guide you the rest of the way. I'm headed over to Tiebreakers for Inside Pirate Athletics with Coach Mike Houston. Stephen Igo and I will have that for you. Thanks to Michael Buscemi for his help as well here today. All right. Patrick Johnson show rolls on. Pilk will get to talk about his hapless Panthers. He'll do an update, then he'll come back and do some general talk in sports. Pirates soccer had a big goal. Did you see that, Sonny? They had a huge goal at the end of the regulation to tie it. It was, even I got excited about it, and I know nothing about soccer, nor do I want to.
I was happy for him. That was a big one. Yeah,
that was big. That was big. And I saw our guy, Shane Winkler, on last Thursday, by the way. Love Shane Winkler. Shout out. ECU softball coach, Shane Winkler. Shout out. All right. Thank you, Sonny. And stay tuned. Philip the Ref Pilkington with a 94.3 The Game sports update and Pirate Report straight ahead.